Okay, welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. It's now time for Celebrity Knock. Celebrity Knock is where we rap with influential and or prominent persons within society. We're talking about music producers, recording artists, media personalities, athletes and politicians. Persons from all those categories have appeared on the show over time. Now, last week we gave you international reggae artist Richie Stephens. Today's guest is international media personality, entrepreneur, founder and co-host of the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club, Angela Yee. Wow. Welcome, Angela. Welcome to Jamaica. And welcome to Kingston for the first time, because you've been in the country before, but never in Kingston.
Yeah, only to the airport on my way, to Ocho Rios or to Port Antonio.
Yeah.
So I never stayed in Kingston.
Never. First time. Well, there's always a first time for something. You grew up in New York. Mm-hmm. Does that make you a New York Knicks or a Brooklyn Nets fan?
Brooklyn Nets. I'm from Brooklyn. So anything Brooklyn, that's what I represent.
Yeah, great having you on the show. And talk to us about your Caribbean roots. I see that your mom has Montserratian roots.
Oh, so yes, my mom's side of the family is from Montserrat. My dad is Chinese.
Chinese.
Yes, and so I was just reading an article about Montserrat, how they were talking about like they only are allowing rich people into Montserrat right now or something crazy.
Which means you've had several visits.
Yeah. No, I haven't. Look, and then I felt really insulted because I had hit them up and I said, I want to come. And they were like, oh no, you have to wait. But yes, it's something like I've been taking my mom there, every year for the past few years until the pandemic. So
how old is your mom?
She's good. She's doing good. My grandfather had retired there, and then the volcano erupted, so his house was, you can't go there anymore.
Well,
so
that was 1995.
Zone. Yeah, so it's the exclusion zone, so we, haven't been able to go there, but I always get a villa.
Yeah. Angela, it's absolutely fantastic to be sharing your company here on our show. We here are huge fans of The Breakfast Club from our vantage. Many of us catch it on YouTube. Those of us with the VPNs catch it live on the stations. They don't know where in the world we are listening. It's almost as if we're in New York. But, I want you to talk a little bit more about your upbringing. You are from specifically where in New York?
I'm from Flatbush in Brooklyn.
Yeah. And I know that area is a hotbed or has been a hotbed for some of the greatest talents in hip-hop. And you know that hip-hop's influence is universal. We know that Biggie comes from Bed-Stuy. We know that Jay comes from the Marcy Projects. We know that so many of the guys, the guys from the other parts, Nas from Queensbridge and so forth.
Little Kim and Foxy Brown are from Brooklyn.
But there you go.
Okay.
Talk to me about the influence of that music on your childhood and if at all it influenced what you've ultimately become.
I would say that hip-hop was one of my biggest influences growing up. I think when I was younger, hip-hop wasn't that big yet, but I just remember being able to hear it on the radio. It didn't really come on TV like that. There was like 2 TV shows, a half an hour, like once a week. So that's the only time you really got to see hip-hop. We didn't have a hip-hop station when I was growing up. So it would be a program that you had to catch. And so I just remember how exciting it was, like seeing the Roxanne movie. I admire her so much when I was younger, and especially seeing the women like Salt and Pepper. Mm-hmm. That, I think, for me, it was really empowering for a woman to see somebody who looks like myself doing what they did. And then listening to Angie Martinez on the radio growing up.
The Angie Martinez show.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. And she used to have this segment, and I was telling her this one day because I still get excited that I know Angie Martinez. She works with us at the station, and so I was telling her how influential the Battle of the Beats was to me. It was this thing where she would put 2 songs against each other that were new songs, and then people would call in and vote on which one was better.
Yes.
And I just remember like the whole theme song. So when I first met her, I was like a super fan. I still feel like that when I see her.
Absolutely. So the other thing to ask about hip hop and its influence on you, when your biography states that when you started your work life, you had an attachment with the Wu-Tang crew, and the Wu-Tang huge here, and the Wu-Tang is particularly resonates with my generation, children born in the 80s, because we watched so many kung fu films, yes. Angela, and then the Wu-Tang, as you know very well, had so many kung fu monologues in their rap records. Talk to me about that experience.
Man, so that was my first job. I interned for Wu-Tang when I was in college. And then when I graduated, that was my first job. So it was exciting because before I had that job, I was nervous because they had this reputation. You know, it was like a bunch of guys.
Yes.
I was a young little 100-pound girl. And I was like, what is this going to be like? And honestly, they were like family. They were very protective over me. And I think it was a great experience because sometimes we could talk ourselves out of things and not understand what it is. And you might be on the outside looking in and being like, no, that's not a good idea. But I was so glad that I took that risk because that really was what gave me my foundation to be where I am today. They all were signed to different record labels. So I was able to know all the different executives at all the labels and meet all these different artists when I was really young. And they gave me a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
So when did the media bug hit you? At what point in your teenage years, I suspect, that you felt that media was something you wanted to pursue?
Well, I always thought that I was going to be a teacher when I was younger.
Teacher, yes.
I was an English major, so my goal was to be a writer, maybe to be a teacher, and I also wanted to be a photographer.
So you didn't study media in college?
No, I was an English major though. So I think those things do go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do.
Because I also did write a lot. So like we had a little newspaper on campus. I would do interviews and write for that. And even when I graduated, when I was working for Wu-Tang, I was writing bios and making a little extra money on the side for artists. But the reason I started in radio was because of Eminem. And his manager, I worked for Eminem's clothing line when it first launched. And then I saw he was launching a radio station at Sirius. And so I asked them about getting a job in marketing. And then instead they were like, oh, why don't you try to do the radio show?
Yeah, yes.
And we could put you on. Eminem's manager was like, we'll have you, do mornings. And it's just an audition. So if it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work. Yeah, it just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And so that's how it started. And then I auditioned for like 3 months before I started getting paid.
Yeah. Slim Shady, and the break that you got there. The fact is, what was as we see you with Sean Paul here, Sean Paul, yeah.
I just saw him.
Yeah, what it is that sparked the idea for the Breakfast Club?
So we all would work. Well, okay. Envy and I were working in two places.
That's DJ Envy, your co-host on the
DJ
Breakfast
Envy.
Club.
DJ Envy was already at. He was already at Power 105. Charlamagne didn't have a job at the time. He had, whatever with Wendy Williams, things wasn't working out, and I was working at Sirius. And so there was a program director there, G-Spin, and it was his idea to bring us together. So they had already been talking to me first about just doing like my own shift, and then they were talking to Charlamagne separately. And then they asked Envy to do mornings again. And he was already doing good in his afternoons. Mornings is a tough slot. Yes. Especially if you're a DJ and you're out DJing all night. You would rather do like 2 o'clock, I would rather do 2 o'clock. But but the morning show is the best time slot on radio. And so they convinced Envy to do mornings. And then I was the last person to sign on. Because I already had a job. Yeah. And I think people look at radio and think shows won't really last because a lot of shows don't last.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it's a big risk to go from something that's already successful, and I was doing really well at Sirius, and I had my own show. And so it was called The Morning After. So it was a difficult decision, like, this is working, should I take the risk to go and do something new?
Dicey. It's dicey in industry, isn't it? What about the Caribbeans? We see you talking there to Sean Paul. I know Alison Hines, the Barbadian soca artist, has been, some of the stars that you've been on with on your show. What's your vibe coming from the Caribbean as far as music is concerned?
Man, you know what it is for me? Mostly it's really growing up in Flatbush in Brooklyn. Have you guys been to Flatbush ever?
I've been, yes.
And that feels like you in the Caribbean.
Oh, yes. You hear more Jamaican accents there than in Kingston here.
So I think I grew up just listening to dance hall, just listening to reggae and soca, and so that was just all around me. There was all different types of people, like it was Haitians, Guyanese, Trini, Jamaican, everything.
Melting pot.
Right, and so I just grew up in that culture, and so it's always like what I listen to, and I feel like we don't promote it enough. And so I always am very intentional on making sure I bring those artists to the show and help expose them and play that music.
Absolutely. So it's a cracking time to be here with Angela Yee. We have much more to speak with her about, including why she's in Jamaica for this trip. Much more after the break. Back with us on the SportsMax Zone. It's Celebrity Knock, and we have a large personality with us on set today. Her name is Angela Yee. Angela, I'm very, very proud of you for, of course, what you've done in your career, but especially so for your activism. And when I saw the notation that you are the very first ambassador for the New York Public Library, I said, I must ask her how that came about.
Well, I'm a big reader, and so ever since I was in kindergarten even, I would write little poems. I would go to the library all the time. That was my favorite place growing up. And so when I had the opportunity to work with them, they actually reached out to me because I had my own book club, and I just started it. It wasn't anything that I made money from. It was something I wanted to do because I wanted to promote these authors that don't have the platforms that they should have to be able to promote. And then I also wanted to get people to read more. And so I started doing this book club in person, and I guess somebody reached out to me about it, and then they were like, we want to have you work with the public library. And I thought it was a great idea. So I'm starting these, unfortunately the pandemic hit, but I am starting these book clubs for high schools. And so I've done some book clubs for young adults also. I just want to make sure that kids know it's cool to read.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have the benefit of a tertiary education. You know so very much what that has meant for you in your career, the grounding that it gave you, and how it opened your eyes to a higher level of thinking and learning. And the American Foundation for the University of the West Indies, for which you are a member of the Board of Governors, is that correct? Right. And which brings you here to Jamaica for an event on Saturday, which will be on Scene TV. Talk to me about how important it is for persons to give back so that other persons who want to pursue higher studies and who meet upon so many obstacles in their life have a chance to vault those hurdles and the obstacles.
I feel like I've been really fortunate just to have the opportunities that I've had. I came from, like I said, Flatbush. I was in a program when I was younger called Prep for Prep, and that really helped me. It was a free program. It was for underprivileged kids, and so that really helped me a lot with my education. I always knew that I was going to have to go to college because my parents were not playing around when it came to that. But I also know it's difficult to be able to do that, and there's so many smart students out there that might not have the means. And so when I had the opportunity to join the board, I thought it was something perfect for me because it's all things that I care about in one. Right, it's about higher education, it's about providing opportunities, it's about the West Indies, and so all of those things to me were a perfect mix.
Yeah, Lance, in one episode of her podcast, Lip Service, she speaks to having a boyfriend whose Jamaican parents locked up the house, went to Jamaica, and he was there without food. Hold on, it's not done yet. She said that sometimes she'd bring a slice of pizza from her house. She didn't have much, but she brought a slice of pizza for him, and he just disappeared once she handed it to him. I bring that up, Angela, because you then had the kindness of heart to assist a student who was hungry, and now, given your station in life, you're using your influence to help university students who want to pursue that university dream, achieve that dream, partnering with the American Foundation for the University of the West Indies.
No, it means a lot to me. And you know what I love? They have the gala every year, and you get to see the students that actually get the scholarships, and you can know who your scholarship goes to. And to me, there's so many charities out there that you're like, I don't know where my money's really going. And so with this, they actually found a student from Montserrat that goes to UE that they were able to give that scholarship to, so that you can see who's really getting it. He's doing really well, and they're giving me his phone number so I can contact him.
Absolutely. So Lance, well, neither Lance or myself, neither of us are Jay-Z or have that pocket, but we have a gift for you, Angela.
What?
Yes, we do.
I got a gift?
Yes, we actually have two things. Lance,
this is really nice.
Lance,
who wrapped this? This is really nice.
And then. Lance has covered 7 Olympic Games. He's Mr. Olympics in the Caribbean. This is from him. Angela, this one. Lance, you need to hold on to this one with her. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah?
And he has a great album out right now, by the way. We were talking about that.
There you go. Music and entertainment go well.
Yeah.
So it's from the SportsMax family, the home of
that
champions.
is so nice.
And that's for you.
I love this.
Whatever is in that.
Can I open it? Let's
of
see
course
what
you can.
is.
It's yours.
It feels like this might be some type of lip service gift.
Just open it and show the viewers what's in it.
Okay. Oh, look at this.
So we're giving her SportsMax hats.
We're going to do this right now.
Tokens, so she can remember us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Great.
Y'all know how to do it up here.
Yes.
SportsMax.
We have no...
Jordan and I are very health conscious as well. We know you have a juice
Ooh.
bar.
Yes.
juices.
Tell us
bar.
about that quickly.
Oh,
The
yes.
juice bar, yes.
I have a juice bar, I have a pressed juice company, and a coffee company. And I know y'all got great coffee here in Jamaica.
Yeah.
The best. We have the best. There you go. All right.
Well,
So,
thank you.
Angela, thank you very much. I'll be seeing you tomorrow for that kitchen table talk event.
I can't wait.
Yes, and yeah, she's here, the American Foundation for the University of the West Indies. She's on the board of governors and she's assisting to advance the cause of that noble organization, providing scholarship opportunities for tertiary level students. Angela Yee, folks, she was here. All right, we take a break, we come back with the SportsMax class. Oh no, we don't break because we're at the end.
Yeah.
Let's go straight into
Yeah.
the interactive segment. Why not?
And the class moments.